But the acting of the male lead in this is, he's more of a model, something to look at, eye candy I guess. But his acting so bad, it's like watching myself.
中島さんは今何をおっしゃいと言いますか。あなた遅いです。
Next film up, The Best of Me. Good scenery, good storyline. You'll enjoy the story. It's well put together, based upon a novel. What the film is about, it's this man and this girl who used to be in love with each other, wanted to be together. They eventually reunite at a funeral of a key person in their lives. The previous encounter between the two was the guy, he was just a teenage kid living with an old drunken, abusive bastard of a father, and who he left. And he ends up running away from this guy and going into a garage because it was raining. Going into the garage of this guy who liked cars because it was raining, and the guy found him there and realized the situation, knew who he was. He belonged to this idiot down the road, so he took him in and he gave him a better life. And the idiot down the road showed up to get his son back and couldn't do it, so the old man beat the shit out of him to get him out of his yard. Well, actually, he took it out in his truck by shooting it several times, making him leave, which caused some problems because they came back later on graduation day and they beat the shit out of the old man, put him in the hospital. And so the young guy got revenge on him by informing the cops that his father and brothers were selling, I believe it was cocaine or marijuana or something, some type of drug. And they ended up going to jail for 10 to 15 years. Meanwhile, this young guy meets this young girl who lives a fairly decent life with a fairly wealthy father who doesn't want his daughter to have anything to do with this young guy because of his family background, although the young guy treats her like really, really well. And you got that situation going on. Eventually, there's a confrontation between the young guy and the father, and the young guy's best friend tries to break up the fight between the father and the son, and as they're struggling with a shotgun, because the old man had just gotten beat up and sent to the hospital, as they're struggling with the shotgun, the father and the son, the gun goes off and he kills his best friend. It was actually him shooting the gun accidentally in the struggle and killing his best friend. He goes to prison for maybe, I don't know, 15 years, somewhere around there. And so he decides he's going to break up with this girl. He doesn't want to be with her and make her wait while he's in prison, so he lets her go. She eventually meets up with this real political dickhead and who has her as eye candy, but really doesn't want to spend any time with this girl. She marries this type of guy, and eventually the marriage falls apart, and years later they meet up again. The guy's out of prison, he's working on an oil rig, becomes a rather heroic figure, saving some people on an oil rig, and having this dream that he'd meet this girl again, which he did at the funeral of the old guy that took him in when he was younger. And so they start getting together, start getting involved, and the father steps into the scene again because this young guy decides to rescue this street kid that his old man had taken in to work selling drugs with him. He goes in and rescues this kid. The old man decides he's going to pay his son a permanent revenge, and he shoots his son through the heart or through the chest, but he kills him, and that's how the story ends. The woman ends up being alone anyway. As far as storyline goes, I recommend this movie. It's got great camera work, great scenery. If you like heat, I don't like heat too much. That was a turn-off. But it's shot in the southern United States during the summer, and you could really feel the heat of this place. But yeah, it looks great, but the acting of the male lead, like I said, you got to get used to him being like a cardboard cutout figure. But recommendation, yeah, if you're into a great love story, this is pretty decent.
I'm not ever gonna give it